Hello, today we're going to cover the grip hand and how we should be using the grip hand. The basics and a few tips in there as well also. Now, when you're first starting out in the game, you need to try and understand the amount of pressure to hold the cue with. So, basically, the amount of pressure you need is the amount of pressure it takes to take the cue from the table. So, carefully lift the cue up from the table, and as you lift the cue up, that's the kind of pressure you need when you're playing the shot. So, you hold the cue like this. Now, when you hold the cue, if you notice, when you hold the cue out, your thumb will tend to point out slightly to the right hand side. What you need is to get your thumb to point level with your forearm in a continual line all the way up your forearm, and that's the position that you should hold your cue in. Now, when you hold the cue out like this, you've got your four fingers underneath and your thumb pointing down. What I've often seen from players that play is they would have the thumb on top of the cue like this. Now, that's not something I would recommend, because as soon as you get down to play your shot, what you will find is that there's added pressure to the cue because your thumb is forcing the cue down the further back your cue goes like this, and you can feel the pressure immediately. So that's never a good thing to do. Always take your thumb from off the top of the cue down to the side like this, and it just stays over the side like that. The main gripping fingers are the four fingers underneath. And that's the basic grip. Okay? You don't squeeze the cue and you don't hold it too lightly, because then you lose the control. You just need the amount of strength it would take to remove the cue from the table. And that's the kind of pressure you need when you're playing the shot. Now, a couple of added little tips here as well. When I'm playing the game and how my game's evolved, I found out that when I'm down on my shot and I'm feathering the cue ball, making the preliminary addresses like this, the further back I take the cue, my little finger seems to be restricting the natural movement of the cue and not allowing it to go any further. So what I do is I lift my little finger away from the cue and just have it leaning on top of the other finger. And then I immediately found out that as soon as I get down on the shot, I've got much more range for the backswing. A hell of a lot more range and less restriction. So that's what I tend to do now, and that's what I've adopted. Now, there's another little tip there as well, and that's the index finger. If I slightly move my index finger back and use slight pressure with the pad of my index finger, that means I can maintain a slacker grip, which means you get more control and more free movement. But it also gives me the added benefit of having pressure applied to the cue, because slight pressure applied to the cue means that you can still control the cue ball with things such as soft screws and little stun shots. And when you're playing a slow shot, those kind of actions on the cue ball are very rarely achieved, because you need the grip and you need that kind of control. But this allows me to still have that control with a slacker grip. So that's just a little added extra there that people could try if they want to, and adopt it if they find that it's a benefit to them. But that's just a little tip there. The index finger pad pressure is just slightly applied to the cue there, and it just gives me that little bit of control on the shot. But going back to the basic grip hand, let's just do a quick recap. So, you're holding the cue off the table, and that's the required grip strength. So that's all it takes, just that much applied pressure to hold the cue. And if you adopt that pressure throughout the shot, then you'll find that that's adequate. That's adequate pressure right there. So when you get down, you'll feel it, and you'll feel the benefits as well. So that's how
you play the basic grip hand.
Okay, I hope you liked the video, and if you did like the video, please subscribe and you'll see more videos such as this one. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much. Bye.